Hi y'all, I'm Allison and I'm late to the Magical Readathon once again. That's right, Orilium Academy opened up its doors last Monday and today is September 8th. Still a Monday, but school started on September 1st, or the Magical Readathon did. So yeah, I've lost a whole week, but that's okay because I only have to read 8 books before my self-inflicted exam dates come up. And I can only read my books while following an actual bell schedule as if I were in school. So, yeah, I like to complicate my life, but I will admit, I love this readathon. It's so fun reading my books this way because it builds the anticipation of, okay, what's going to happen next? And there's some days where I'm just like, no, I don't want to put it down, and I get upset when class ends because it's at a cliffhanger and then I have to wait for days potentially to continue on. So it's just a really fun way to read my books and also keep me wondering what's going on, because Nasilla, she is my fictional character. She is one who's actually at school. She made some enemies with these girls at the beginning of her academic journey. And the 3 sisters or cousins, I don't even remember anymore, but they have this fate deck because they have some magical powers of their own and they like to mess with Nasilla. So every day there's a new fate card and it can potentially change the shape of the entire day. Sometimes though, they're nice and they give her a little benefit, something to help her day out, but more often than not, it's just more chaos because that's how we roll over here. So I don't have any time to waste. Here's my schedule for the day. As you can see, but I can't. I have 5 classes today. 4 different books. 1 class meets twice. So I've got 2 this morning. I need to hurry up and get it in gear. Otherwise, I'm going to be late and they are going to lock me out and I'm going to miss more class time. So my first class of the day is Shapeshifting. But before I can grab my book and run to that, we need to find out what fate has in store for us. So let me grab my little fate deck. It's in a gift card box. Love these magnetic boxes. We're going to give these, fills up like the entire box. Give this a little shuffle. Since it's been so long, I have no idea what's in here. I haven't done this in an entire year. I missed it April. So I'm really itching to get back into Orilium. Okay, I think that's good. Let's go ahead and just take the top card. Are you ready? Can't find classroom. Give up and return to dorms. Missed today's class. Are you kidding me? Yeah, see, fate. Okay, I did have 5 classes for the day. Now I only have 4. And we need to find out which class I'm going to miss. I'm really looking at I don't want to miss the 1.5 hours of animal studies because that's an extra long class and I don't have many of those this year. And I really need all the time in elemental studies because I have 3 different books I have to read for that class in order. I can't read them at the same time. So I guess I'm hoping I lose either Shapeshifting or Astronomy, which means I'm most assuredly going to miss elemental studies. Because that's just how fate goes for me. But we're going to leave it up to the rocks. I'm going to have 1 through 5 in here. Okay, 1 to 5 is in here. And give it a good shake. And I don't know. I'm scared. Okay, I'm taking this one. Number 4. What's number 4? I knew it. I miss my animal studies for this afternoon. I miss an hour of that. That is the class I need the most time in. Are you kidding me? I'm telling you. Yeah, okay. I don't have time to sit around. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my morning hours too, because I have got 2 hours of classes this morning and it's creeping up on 10 o'clock. So if I don't make it, I'm going to lose even more time. So I'm going to, let's get my bookmark. I love these things. They keep me organized. so here's Shapeshifting. You can see I get to mark down what I read and whatnot. It has reminders of when the class meets. And on the back, I have the title of the book. And down here, when my deadline is. So I have to have this book finished by Monday the 29th at 11 a.m. Only following class time or study hall. There is chance for, I do have study hall in my schedule. Okay, I gotta stop yakking. I've had a lot of Diet Coke and I am going to, linger. Oh, yes. Well, no, I'm not gonna linger because that would go against everything I'm trying to do, but I'm gonna go read linger. Okay, so I've got 1 hour Shapeshifting class, first class at Orilium. Wish me luck. I hope I like my teacher and I will see y'all after my class. So, bye. Well, I just got out of my first class. I made it to page 52 and I'm going to have to borrow somebody's notes because I am so lost. Turns out I read part 1, Mercy Falls trilogy, Shiver, back in October of 2023. I've of course read it numerous times before then, but that was my most recent time and I don't really remember much from it. So I may have to look up a synopsis, borrow somebody's notes before I go back to class. And I don't get to revisit this till tomorrow afternoon. I have to wait. So got my toes wet. That was about it. All right. I don't have any time at all because it is coming up on 11 o'clock and I've got elemental studies and I cannot afford to give up any time with this class because I apparently am going to be struck with some kind of amnesia and I'm going to forget where the classroom is this afternoon. So I have to make full use of this morning's hour and let me find what book I need. Oh yeah, I won't miss that hour at all. So I'm reading The Son of Neptune, which is part 2 in the Heroes of Olympus, part of the Percy Jackson universe. This is the 3rd trilogy within that overall series. Anyway, I gotta run to class and I will check back with y'all when I'm done with my morning classes. Okay, so I survived the morning classes and absolutely loved The Son of Neptune. It hit the ground running. I read it multiple times, but I don't remember any of the details. I just remember that it's the Roman gods this time instead of the Greek gods, which is Percy. And that there's a little bit of a camp swap going on. I don't really remember any of the particulars, so I had so much fun with it. Like I said, hit the ground running, especially with the humor, which I absolutely love in this series. So great way to finish my morning. And it's already going on 3:30. It's about 3:15. So if I hurry, I can make it to my afternoon class because here's what the afternoon is. And I guess it kind of worked out good that I lost my second environmental studies class. I'm so bummed. I would love another hour with Percy because I actually ended on a tiny bit of a cliffhanger. A character showed up literally as the last line and I was not expecting to see them there. So there's already caught me by a little twist that I was unprepared for. Anyway, I've got to go to animal studies and I don't remember what book I need, but thankfully I do have my little bookmarks, so I can just, yeah, animals. I need the blue one. Blue one is animal studies and remarkably bright creatures. Okay, this is my first class that's full of all new material because as far as Shapeshifting and elemental studies, so far those are kind of like refreshers. I've read both of those series before, but this one is brand new for me. So remarkably bright creatures. I did see where a couple of people have responded. The TBR game of this video just went up this morning, and I think it was Erica and Tabara's Den, I think, mentioned that they both really enjoyed this book. So I'm excited to get into it. I do have a full hour and a half with it, and then it'll be evening time. And looking at my schedule, I have to take a break until the sun goes down after this class, which might work out really good. Give me a little chance to just, because it takes a little bit to get into Orilium mode, you know, all of this, watching the clock and everything. But I gotta quit talking or I'm gonna run out of time. I'm going to class. I will see you after. Bye. Okay, it's 8 o'clock. I've changed into my pajamas, so I'm going to my last class in my PJs, and I don't care. So since it is a class that meets after dark, after the sun has set, I have a feeling I probably won't be the only one in my pajamas. At least I'm hoping not. Now this afternoon I did go to my, animal studies class. I had an hour and a half. And I don't think I mentioned this. I do not have to do that hour and a half as one set amount of time. Like I don't have to start at 3 o'clock and finish at 4:30. I can do an hour and a half, even if and break it up as much as I want, as long as I finish before 6 p.m. I could do 15 minutes and then come back later, and because there's a lot of interruptions during the day. So anyway, I did do pretty much just the straight hour and a half, because I thought I was going to have to be, that I was rushing if I started at 3:30. Somehow I lost an hour. I think I was still accounting for my elemental class that I didn't get to go to, because fate was mean to me. Remember, here was my schedule for the day. So I missed that second hour with Percy Jackson, which I really wanted. It was fun. But I am really enjoying Remarkable Bright Creatures. And I was wrong earlier. It wasn't Erica. I think it was Culinary Crimes and Stacy, who had both remarked on this book, saying that they really enjoyed it. I can see why. I'm getting pulled in quite quickly. Although at first I was a little sad just thinking about the octopus being in the aquarium. But yeah, I get a little too empathetic. But it is what it is. I'm a little tired. So I haven't done this in a while, and yeah, well, we'll just. It's fine. I gotta get into my groove. Anyway, I have one class tonight, and it's astronomy, which works out perfect because, that's why I had to wait for the sun to go down so I could see the stars. I have no idea what my astronomy book is. I forget. And instead of trying to look up an old piece of paper or something, I can just find my bookmark. I love my little bookmarks. Oh, the disappearance of Georgiana Darcy. I didn't realize how many rereads are actually on my list this year. I probably should have. Wow, I think everything but 2 books are a reread for me. Granted, most of them I haven't read in ages, like this one. So hopefully I will still enjoy it as much as I did the first time. We will find out. I do have 1 hour to read it between now and midnight. So should be no problem. It's only 8 o'clock, and this is the only class I have for the night. So this one is a Gothic retelling of, well, not a retelling. This is more like a continuation. Elizabeth and Fitzwilliam Darcy are already married, and Georgiana has been kidnapped. Everybody's gathered for Kitty Bennett's marriage, her wedding. And they discover that Georgiana has disappeared without a trace. No, we got to see if we can find her, I guess. So this one's going to be a mystery, which will be fun. All right, I'm going to run off to class and find some dinner. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten. And I will probably just come back in the morning and find out what my fate is. I'm sure we can do 2 days in today's video. We'll see. All right, bye. Good morning. I did make it to my astronomy class last night, and I ended up being late to the class. Well, I mean, I wasn't technically late. I made it in time, but I didn't finish until like 10 minutes before midnight. So I don't know if I mentioned, and I may have. I do not have to. If I have an hour for class, I don't have to read it all at once. I can break it up. So, and I did that a little bit last night. I did something. I don't know if it was, just lugging in all of my books and everything for school or whatnot, but I pulled something, and my sternum's really been hurting. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if I stretched too far. I'm still Still not up to full range motion and everything from the surgeries and whatnot. But anyway, it's kind of derailed me a little bit. But that's okay. We're going to plow through because Advil worked. If it keeps bothering me, I will call the doctor. But I think I just need to take it a little easy. So I did that this morning. Although I did go to the grocery store because I wanted a kolache from H-E-B, but they were sold out. I was too late. Dang it. So anyway, let's get today's schedule. No, wait, first. Well, yeah, we can do, look, we'll grab the schedule. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've already had a full day and it's still morning. Okay, here it is. Well, I guess I forgot. Here's the calendar. Today's Tuesday the 9th. Sounds good. Okay, here's today's schedule. There we go. I'll get the hang of this again. I actually have a pretty light day, it looks like, potentially. I only have one morning class, which is a good thing because it's already 10:45 and it's study hall. Now, if you didn't know or forgot like I did, study halls are intended, at least at the very beginning, I can only use it to catch up on a class that I'm behind in, or to get a little bit ahead in a class that is coming up later on that very same day. Because you can't get too far ahead of your classes because it could get dangerous. You know, we've got some pretty hefty spells being taught over here at Orilium. And, you know, explosions are known to happen. So I want to make sure I'm not one of the people that's causing the wing to explode. Because, you know, it could happen. So anyway, luckily for me, or unluckily, I don't know, but study hall, I can use that to regain that hour that I lost yesterday with elemental studies. So that's good. So even though it gets me caught up in elemental studies, I still lost time because I could have gotten a little bit ahead on a restoration or a shapeshifting later on today. But you know what? It is what it is. So I will be starting off with elemental studies and Percy Jackson, who has amnesia. The amnesia seems to be a theme. And I noticed another theme yesterday too. He's the son of Neptune, Poseidon. So water plays a big role in this one. And remarkably bright creatures with the octopus. Water. So I've got two with amnesia, two water-based. There seems to be, you know, a little link running through all of these. Okay, before we can just move on to study hall, we gotta find out what happens with the fate deck. You know, because Nasilla and Fenris are around here somewhere. I don't know where they are. So maybe if I find out what a fate is for the day, maybe I can bump into them at some point. Okay, ready? Yep. We get oversleep, late to class, lose 15 minutes of class time. What the hell? It's just... Okay, so instead of getting an hour back with elemental studies, I only get 45 minutes. This is, you know, I feel like I'm being thwarted intentionally. Because I keep losing time in the most crucial class. The class that I don't have the time to lose. I need to find Nasilla and find out what is going on. Because this fate deck, those girls are really going after her for this class. All right. I will let you know after study hall. Maybe we can get to the bottom of all this. I don't know. Hopefully I'll see her. But I'm going to run off and get my 45 minutes of study hall in before that's taken from me as well. So bye. Sadly, I got kicked out of elemental studies just because class time was over. I want a long one with this. I'm enjoying it so much. I made it up to page 110. Really bummed I only had 45 minutes because this one starts out, it's starting out better than any of the other Percy Jacksons that I remember. I'm really having fun with this book, and the fact that I have to put it down, it just, but alas, it's going to have to wait until When's my next class with it? Wednesday. Tomorrow. Okay, so that's cool. I get to go back to it tomorrow. All right. Because right now, look, I've got restoration for a full 2 hours. Now, it's about 1:15 in the afternoon. Of course, as I've said before, I don't have to read it all in one 2-hour chunk, which I may very well take a nap in there. I'm feeling a little run down today. But the good news is that soreness that I was experiencing seems to be letting up. Advil seems to be curing it. So, very happy with that. But I've got restoration, and it's the first time going to this class. Oh, it's Remember Me. I'm really intrigued by this one. This book has been on my bullseye list for a long time, which those are the books that just have a big old bullseye right here, thinking that, maybe it's time for it to go away and make room on my shelf. It's even been in a Trash My TBR video, yet it's still is here. So I am finally going to read this book, and I'm going to start it right now. So I've got 2 hours with it. We'll see how far into it I get. I am only reading the first part. This is a 3-book bind up. All right, I'm going to run to class, and I will see y'all later on. Okay, it's obviously much later. Everybody in my house is asleep. It's going on midnight, and I did go to my afternoon class. I am really enjoying this book. I'm glad I had the 2 hours with it all at once, though, because at first I wasn't too sure about it. It's the author's male, Christopher Pike, and it's from the perspective of a teenage girl. She's 18, and she is killed, or she dies. We don't know yet which one it is. And she comes back as a ghost, and she's trying to figure out what happened to her. She was with her friends, and it seems like her friends may actually be suspects. So I'm really enjoying the mystery part of it. I've gotten far enough into it to where that has kicked in. And prior to that point, I wasn't too sure. It was just like his writing for the female character felt a little off at times. Not terribly so, but enough that I was just like, and then, everything happened, and it started the investigation, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm glad to know that at least at this point, it has been worth holding on to for all these years. Anyway, this afternoon I also had a study hall, and then the only evening class was Shapeshifting. So following the rules that I set for myself for study hall, the only thing I could do was either make up a class I had missed, or do something that was later on in the day. I could get a little bit ahead in one of my classes. So since I had already caught up with this morning's study hall, I went ahead and read ahead for Shapeshifting, which means I managed to get 2 full hours with Linger, and I needed it. You can see I've made quite a bit of progress in this one already. Not bad considering it's the second day of school, but I was still struggling because I didn't remember my material from last time. I think I read part 1, which is Shiver, 2 years ago. So I was having a hard time placing everybody, and so I went ahead and looked up at least a very brief synopsis of Shiver, and I was like, okay, I think I remember most of it now. So I am enjoying it, and I've forgotten how much Maggie Savater, her writing is a little more flowery than I typically enjoy, and I do love that about hers. So I don't mind it at all in these. I do love this series. And I just discovered today there's actually part 4, Sinner, which I never knew about. Takes one of the side characters and makes them the upfront character, the main character. All right, it is very late, and I've got school in the morning, and my mom has a doctor's appointment, so I'm going to have to, I think, try and do my classes before her doctor's appointment. I don't know, we will see. But I'm going to go to bed, and I hope to see you next time.